Hey guys, this is Styles, and this is going to be another submission from Reddit. That's right. These players are going to be Blanchy spawning as the Red Terran. Not really quite sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Once again, I'm going to apologize because I'm not really quite sure how to pronounce these names. And his opponent is going to be the Blue Zerg, Thundare or Thundare or something. Not really quite sure with this name either. I apologize once again. These names, man. Why can't there just be something normal like smoked beer or meat curtains? Oh man, if you guys know what that's from, you guys I don't know. It's basically from Day 9. Day 9 was trying to catch some games from the end the little thing that he's doing with not a little thing, that huge thing actually that he's doing with Husky, that tournament, and apparently he was going to cast some viewer submission replays from the tournament as well, and he got people whose names were like meat curtains and smoked beer, so he's kind of just like, well, we can't really cast these games to the public audience now, can we? So anyways, this is going to be from Reddit. So he did Blanchy, I think, I'm pretty sure that was the submitter. He did submit this to Reddit saying, oh, this was a pretty interesting build, and I would like someone to cast it for me. And I was like, you know, I'll take it up, I'll cast it. And by the way, the Reddit, the subreddit is called Cast It. So if you guys aren't familiar with Reddit, you just go to www.reddit.com/r/castit, as in CASTIT, with no space at all. So, and then you could go there, tell them about your, hey, I'm casting, I'm a caster, or if you have an interesting replay, you can go there and submit it, and it pretty much makes it to the front page, I guess. Instead of just posting it on places like a C2 Rep, if you post it there, people who are looking for replays to cast, I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be casted by like the highest, most popular casters, but it will be casted people like me, people who are just like, you know, just like not really that popular out there, just want to get cast, just want to cast replays. So it looks like Thundare is going to be going for a 13 pool by the looks of it, pretty early pool if you were to ask me, and this is going to be from the Gold League. So I'm not really quite sure if the 13 hatch is that very economical. It was standard at one point, but I feel like there's been other builds that have been said that do better, I think. So 13 full 15 hatch, or just going for the 15 hatch in general. There's different builds out there, and I've been beating like all these builds over the head to death, trying to find out the most economic build. I have been looking for, and I think the one I like the most is the 11 overpool. Maybe I'll explain that some other time in a stylish tutorial or anything like that. Looks like Blanchy, on the other hand, is going to be going for a really fast tech lab on this barracks, and it looks like he's going to be getting out an early Reaper. We haven't seen this sort of build since like the early phases of the game, when before Reapers got that huge nerf. Looks like he's also going to be throwing down a bunker, but the drone is going to be poking away at the SCV. The SCV might be falling at this time. 5 HP, just one poke away, but the drone is just inches away. What? That was so clutch. He was just inches away, but looks like a lot of Zerglings are going to be pulled, and they're going to try and do a lot of damage to his bunker, but it looks like the bunker placement is going to be perfect so that the Lynx can they get around? Oh, looks like they will be, and he is going to have to salvage that. Will it salvage? Looks like it indeed did salvage. So Terran player did try to go for something crazy at the time, but he wasn't able to succeed at that point. But he's also pulling out an early Reaper. Will he be able to do a lot of damage with this? It looks like the Zerglings are going to be completely out of position. What is Reaper? This Reaper is just hiding behind the tall grass. He's going to be hopping up the ledge and running into the main of Thundare. Thundare has nothing to block this at all. He's going to be losing a drone, and the Zerglings are going to be attacking the front wall of Blanchy, but he realizes that he's going to be losing way too many drones in the process, so the Reaper is going to run back, and he's still going to be able to get a couple kills. Looks like he's going to have 3 kills by now. If he targets the weakened ones, he will be able to get another kill, and 4 kills, 5 kills, and he did target the weakened one. The Zerglings are going to be running into the main once again. Blanchy is going to be transitioning perfectly out of this with that command center. So I love this play by Blanchy right now. He did put on some early pressure with this Reaper, was able to get 5 kills in a sense, basically paying for itself double times almost. And now is going to be working on getting up that tech, getting up that economic lead after he was able to do that much damage to his opponent. And now Thundare, and once again I apologize to all the people who are like listening. It's like, that's not how you pronounce it. Like if it's like alluding to something, I apologize. But either way, Thundare is going to be in a pretty bad position. I like what he did though. He Maynard all of his drones over to his natural, so that Reapers will have a harder time getting here. Looks like he's going to have 3 idle drones at this point. The Queen and Reaper did engage, but the Reaper was not able to do that much damage. In fact, taking a lot of damage and then able to fly away. and these Speedlings are still looking for it. This Overlord did catch sight of it. Thundare doesn't really want to move up there because if he does, the Reaper could always hop down and go back into the main. But at this point, I like what Thundare did, and he mainard all of his drones into the natural. This way, the Reaper won't be able to get into the main and start killing off more drones. This is basically the safer area. But at the time, if we look at the units tab, I fear that Blanchy. Oh, whoa, never mind. Blanchy is going to be behind in the workers tab, so he did not. Kind of cut workers pretty early, but at this time it's pretty well saturated because he does only have one harvester on gas. Looks like the Reaper is finally going to die. So that Reaper, I love that play from Blanchy. He did do a lot of damage with it. I kind of missed the old Reaper play that we always used to see back in the old days before they got the nerf. And the Spy Crow was like, "I'm gonna poke you," and then they went out of range, and he was just like, "Oh damn!" And it looks like Blanchy is going to be going into the main of Thundare at this time. He will know that the Baneling Nest is going to be on the way, but he also know the Baneling Nest will be far from. Will not be able to complete in time for him to warp in any Banelings. Looks like he will be able to get the surround on these units and take him to their graves, basically. I guess I don't know what saying I was trying to go with that, but looks like the last Marauder will die. Marauders aren't really that good against Zerglings, so good play by Thundare, and if he does go for a Baneling bust right now, he will be able to do a lot of damage at this point because he does have a lot of lings, and if he makes just the right amount of Banelings, he will be able to break this down, and he'll have a lot of extra lings left over to take care of the Marauders. Right now, Blanchy is going for a very Marauder-heavy army. If you look at the armies tab, it's going to be 6 Marauders with 4 Marines as backup. At this point, if Thundare goes for a lot of Banelings, he will be able to do a lot of Zerglings. He will be able to do a lot of damage at this point. In fact, if the Banelings don't go off on the Marauders and are able to chase away the Marines, then essentially he will be doing a massive amount of damage. And the reason why I say that is because in a sense that means it'll only be Marauders versus Zerglings. If the Banelings get chase away the Marines are basically no longer in the fight because they're on the move command running away from Banelings. And that's perfect because then the Zerglings will just hard counter the Marauders, and the Marauders will just fall like flies. At this point, Blanchy is going to be effectively on 2 command centers, but on 1 base. So he's going to have that mule advantage in a sense with that 2 base, but he's also going to be mining out his main really quickly. So he might be wanting to look for an expansion as soon as possible. Move out and grab that expansion. Maybe lower the supply depot, drop down some bunkers. But at this time, Thundare does have that threat of that Baneling bust, so Blanchy is a little bit wary of the fact that these Banelings can do a lot of damage with these Speedlings. Speedlings will be able to surround the army, and the Banelings could come in and do a lot of damage. It looks like he's also going to be moving out, getting that map control, wanting to check if there is going to be an expansion or not. So now that he's noticed that there is not going to be an expansion, he is going to feel a little bit more safe, and now he might want to do a Baneling, but Banelings are going to be running in at this time. Will he be able to break down the wall? It looks like the Banelings do not make it to the wall. The Zerglings are actually blocking the path for the Banelings, but finally the wall is going to fall, but it looks like he's going to back out afterwards, taking a lot of damage from that. I felt like he did a lot of damage to basically like a tech lab and a supply depot, but at the same time was not able to do enough damage. He might have come out behind on the unit's resources lost, and it looks like he in fact did lose more resources than he was able to do in damage. And now the Queen, I have no idea what this Queen is doing. This Queen was like, "I want to join the fight," and it was just like, "Oh, never mind, I'm too slow. Party is already over." Looks like there's also going to be 2 Queens on the way for Thundare, so he does want to get some defenses up, and the fastest way he can do that is to get some Queens out. And right now he is banking up a lot of minerals. It would be nice for him to come out with a couple more Zerglings, and he really is. And he's also getting a macro hatch in his natural. Zerglings are going to be stringing in, but the siege tank is going to be doing way too much damage. He needs to get a flank or something. Banelings are going to be rolling in. Will they be able to get up on the Marines? The Marines are going to be falling. Drones are going to be pulled off the line. If he gets a surround on the siege tank, he will be able to do a lot of damage. And there's going to be the GG by Thundare. Interesting play from these 2 players. I have to admit that Reaper did just so much damage in the early game, and now if we look, the 12 workers were killed and in that exchange, so Thundare was going to be behind in a sense. And yeah, Blanchy was now ahead in the workers tab. What I wanted to say was that Reaper in the early game did so much damage. The fact was he actually got the Reaper basically almost to play mind games. So I love that Reaper opening. We never ever see that after the Reaper what's it called? Nerf? The Reaper nerf. There we go. I fear that I called it the Reaper buff for the longest time throughout this replay. If I did, I apologize. But either way, that Reaper nerf, basically, if you guys don't know what it is, Reapers used to get this thing called Nitro Pack from the Tech Lab, and it made Reapers so much faster. It made them ridiculously fast. But the problem was that a lot of people in the early stages of this game, when it first came out, they would abuse this against Zerg and just go mass Reaper in the early game, and there would be nothing that the Zerg could do to basically fend it off. So they nerfed it, saying that okay, instead of just being allowed to get the research nitro packs early on, we're gonna make them build a factory first, and then you can upgrade the research. So that nerf basically almost made Reapers pointless in a sense, because if you wanted to go bio, people weren't really that inclined to get that factory on early on. So in the end, the Reaper was not used, and also if you got the factory, you just might as well go Hellion, because the Hellion is fast and has a splash damage, like area of effect, splash damage. So and the blue flame is just ridiculous. So people didn't really see the need for Reapers. Yes, they can hop over cliffs and Hellions can't, but Hellions were just so quick and that splash damage was so great that people just opted out for the Hellion. So in the end, not a lot of people did use that Reaper, but I love to see that Blanchy did actually use it. He actually placed it in a great position, placed it over here. The Overlord spread did not catch sight of it, so he was able to in fact hop up onto the ledge, especially when the Zerglings were all in front of Blanchy's base. He was able to go in and kill 5 drones. And you might be thinking 5 drones, come on, that's like nothing. He was able to get like 7 in this exchange. But the problem was that those were 5 drones in the early game against a Zerg. So that means that's 5 drones, 5 larvae that he spent on drones that he's going to have to spend once again on drones instead of army units. And that's why the army also looked pretty damn small in the final engagement, because he spent so much time Maynarding his drones over to his natural. He spent so much time re-droning up, and his economy was like in shambles basically in the early game. And then Blanchy was just basically able to take the lead. Thus, afterwards, did get that command center, did get that huge mule advantage with the extra command center and the extra SCVs as well. And then just kind of went crazy with the sea tanks and marauders and was able to take the game. Good game between these two players. Once again, I was really happy to cast this. It was actually really interesting, and this is what I'm saying, man. I don't just cast pro replays. I do love casting all sorts of replays. This was a gold level replay, like I said. So I'm honestly down to cast anything. If it's interesting, then it's worth watching, because interesting plays can happen on all levels of play. You don't have to be Grandmaster to come out of game thinking that was a sick game. I wish someone could cast that, because that's the beauty of StarCraft. Even if you're bronze, you can get some epic looking games. So I'm just telling you guys, I do love casting replays. So send in your replays if you think it's interesting. I will cast it. Anyways, thanks guys for tuning in, and peace.